So I'm suing him because he put an engagement ring into my champagne glass, which I swallowed and then had to go to the emergency room to make sure that I didn't have any internal injuries.
Must have been so tiny you couldn't see it, right?
Yes.
It's the thought that counts.
It's the
He could
thought
have
that
thought
counts.
a little harder, Your Honor.
An engagement ring in your champagne glass.
Yes.
What'd you do, just gulp down the glass?
I did. I was a little inebriated before the proposal, but I was nervous, and I was trying to get a little liquid courage.
Now,
and so
that's the first. So where were you when he gave you the engagement ring?
We were at my favorite restaurant, Felix. It's a steakhouse. Mm-hmm. And he set it up. It was a table that we had our first date at. Mm-hmm. He had 2 champagne glasses on, and when I first sat down, he grabbed my hands and he was starting just spewing, bubbling how much he loved me and he much appreciated me and all this stuff. And I was ready to end the relationship, so I stopped him. And
you were ready to end the relationship on the night of your proposal?
Yes, Your Honor.
He didn't know you at that point?
Your Honor, he doesn't pick
marriage?
up on context clues that well.
Your Honor, she doesn't speak up about her mom.
Wow, so why were you ready to end the relationship?
He says, unbeknownst to me, he says that he wants to settle down. We never talked about it. It had only been 8 weeks. It really put a lot of pressure on me because I had told him before how slow I wanted to go in this relationship, especially having not been in one for a long time.
Why did you put pressure on him when all you had to say was, that's not gonna happen? No, I don't want to get married. No, I'm not ready to settle down.
I mean, look at his face, Your Honor. He's like as fragile as a toothpick. I tell him that. I didn't know what was gonna happen.
But if you didn't want to get married, you didn't know what was gonna happen to you. Why are you more worried about him than you?
Well, I tend to be a little absorbed in what other people are feeling. And so I was just...
You have to put much more emphasis and concern about it than somebody's feelings. And you're hurting their feelings for the moment, because if you marry somebody you don't want to be married, you're going to hurt their feelings even worse.
Correct, Your Honor. And I agree with that. And I told him, I'd already expressed how I wasn't there yet. I wasn't ready for that.
So
I wasn't at that.
You couldn't say that then?
I didn't say anything. I backed off. I told him I needed a little bit of space, that we need to, slow things down a lot. Mm-hmm. And then that's when he called me up one night and said, let's go to Felix. It's be real special, get real dolled up, which I know I should have put 2 and 2 together, but I thought that was a great moment to just end the relationship. Like, when we get there, end it in person, respectfully.
So that's what you're thinking?
That's what I'm thinking. I can go there.
The irony of things, how does she plan to end the relationship when he's promising you that it's going to be a date of a lifetime, that is going to make everything so sweet for you, and it's going to make it adventurous? To him, this is the peak of the relationship, and that's where you plan to end the relationship. It sounds weird to me. And for the guy, he's supposed to sense some things. You're supposed to sense things, even though she doesn't communicate with you. You're supposed to know when a girl is ready for the ring. You don't propose and just think an engagement is what a girl wants because she says so. And in this case, the girl didn't even say so because you assume so, which is very wrong, because this is him setting himself up for one of the biggest embarrassments of a lifetime. If she didn't say yes to you privately, she won't say yes to you publicly. That's what happens here. So let's see how this goes.
Be cordial, and then I would just, hey, I don't want to be with you anymore.
That would have been kind of rude, don't you think?
A little bit.
Instead, the tables turned and he asked you to marry him.
Yes.
And then what did you do when he asked you to marry him?
Well, he didn't really get to that part because I was choking on the freaking ring that he put in the champagne glass.
This is interesting. Let me hear what you have to say, Mr. Riley.
How you doing, Your Honor? So we had met over a dating app, and then about a couple weeks went by, and after we were spending the night at each other's houses, going on many dates, I was sending flowers to her house and just give her that reassurance, because she did tell me that she was a little bit reluctant towards relationships and that she did not have the best past with it. So I was like, all right, let me not be too overbearing, but I also made sure I reassured her that I wanted her, only her, nobody but her.
How did you figure that out after 1 or 2 dates?
Her physical appearance, just mentally, we had a lot of the common interests.
What were the common interests?
We both like to work out, cycle. We go to the same run club.
The same what?
Run club.
Okay.
Go to the same run club. She likes to draw. I like to paint. All those different things.
Okay, but the only difference you had, you wanted to be married and settle down, and she didn't. When did you know that?
I kind of
that was a difference.
just whenever I would talk to her and tell her about how much she intrigued me and how much I was into her, and she would kind of give me like a stiff arm, but I thought she was low-key trying to be like hard to get.
So you all kept going out?
Yes, we kept going out. We were having dates. We were having movie nights. She would even call me late at night to come to her house.
So you were enjoying his company?
Yes, I was.
All right. You still though were apprehensive about marriage,
Yes, I was apprehensive.
but you were enjoying his company.
I enjoyed his company.
All
He's
right,
a
go
great
on.
company, Your Honor.
So after that, Your Honor, we had a phone conversation, and she was telling me about her favorite movie is The Wedding Planner. And they were
The Wedding Planner?
Yes,
That's her favorite movie.
yes.
Your favorite movie is The Wedding Planner? So you must have some ideas and dreams about getting married then.
Yes, after a reasonable amount of time of getting to know somebody.
And you didn't think what it had been, 2 months?
8 weeks.
8 weeks, that's 2 months about. So you didn't think that certainly wasn't enough time? Okay.
Absolutely not.
So you took her and you watched The Wedding Planner, and then what?
And then in my head, I just thought that since she had brought it back up, then that was meaning that she wanted us to take things to the next level. So I had told her later on that week to get dolled up, get dressed up, and that I would take her back out to her favorite restaurant.
And that's when you planned the proposal.
Yes.
Why'd you put the ring in the champagne glass?
It seemed romantic, Your Honor.
But you knew she had to drink out of the glass.
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, what was the size of the ring? The size of those earrings in your ear?
I actually have it on me, Your
Oh,
Honor.
let me see. Oh, you have it on you?
Yes, Your Honor.
The doctor was able to get it out?
No, I had to pass it.
Well, that's got it
Maybe you
out.
don't want to touch it then. Maybe you don't want to touch it then.
Well, come on, Will. They cleaned this in. You swallowed it and passed it through your bowels. Wow.
I'm surprised I don't have a hemorrhoid, Your Honor.
You may have had one that's gone. You didn't see this in the glass?
It was a little bubbly, and I didn't look down at the glass. I just sort of picked it up and chugged it.
So that must have thrown you for a loop when she started choking.
Yes, Your Honor. She had started freaking out, and then I freaked out too because she legit, the glass was in her hand, and then next thing I knew, it was gone. So I started panicking. She was panicking. I asked her if she wanted to go to the hospital. She said she wanted to go to the emergency room. They said that they wouldn't have to do any type of major surgeries to her, and that everything would just pass naturally. It passed naturally, and then I took her home. When I took
So
her,
it passed that night?
no, it didn't pass that night.
Oh.
Later on, it passed naturally.
Okay.
Yeah, they had told her that.
But they told her she could go on home and
yes,
release
they told
her.
her that she can go home.
How long did it take? A couple of days?
Yes. I was nervous because I didn't know well, first of all, after learning about the ring, I was especially nervous because what kind of metal do you have on this ring? Is it going to erode in my stomach? Am I going to have a puncture wound in my intestine? So I was a little nervous, yes.
How you gonna get all that from a ring in your stomach?
Because, you know, the intestines, and they curve and they zig and zag, and I just,
Oh, okay.
you know, I bought a squatty
I
potty.
think you got a little way out there in terms of your thinking. Right.
I've heard.
Don't blame her for thinking like that, because anybody that is in that situation, when you're aware that you swallowed a metal, you can think far out of fear. You know, it can make you think far and think wide and overthink things. So I don't blame her for thinking about the whole metal and whatever chemical reaction it can cause in her stomach. But since she was already rest assured by the health center that don't worry that she's going to pass it naturally and there's not going to be any form of side effects, she should have just been calm, you know. But then again, this guy, I feel like the guy is one of the most clueless people I've seen. He's all loved up in his head and he's not thinking deep. He's taking the hints wrongly and he's just making assumptions. And while she said she likes his company, it's also very cautious of her that she knew that 2 months is too short of a time for her to be engaged to him. For someone that assumes that she hinting him her favorite movie, The Wedding Planner, is her hinting him that she's ready for engagement, that's just a wrong sign and a wrong mixed signaling that this guy has. The guy literally is clueless and doesn't even know how to read the room and read the person that he's supposed to be with. So it was very right of her to say no to the engagement, and very wrong of him to have proposed in the first place when he doesn't even know her well enough to know what she wants and what she doesn't. But let's continue though.
I don't know. It happens. You pass the ring. You give it back to him and told him, I don't want to be married.
Well, so he called me. He was persistent throughout the whole relationship. Persistent, calling me, texting me.
That's what you're supposed to be in a relationship.
No,
is persistent.
not all day, every day.
You said you
Yes,
liked
you
it.
are.
I did. I liked hanging out with him. I didn't like my phone waking up to 3 messages. No one wants to do all that in the morning. I already run late to work.
Don't say no one wants to do that. A lot of people would love that.
Okay.
A lot of people would die for that.
Which I understand. I do understand. And I told him that I was going to clean it off, get it professionally clean, and I'd give
Right.
it back to him because
And that's what you did.
that's what I did. I put it in a box, put it in the mailbox, set it in his mailbox.
Sat in his mailbox? Did you tell him you were breaking up?
Oh yes, when he had called and checked on me, I told him, I don't want to be
She
in this
told me that she
relationship.
didn't want to have anything else to do with me, Your Honor. And she also told me that
That's
she wanted me to
putting a
pay
10
for
on
her
it.
hospital bill.
Whew, that's a tough one right there. So you think he ought to pay for your hospital bill. Now, what do you want her to pay? Why are you countersuing?
Because I took the ring back to the jeweler, Your Honor, and I explained the situation to them, and they said because of the fact that the ring had to pass through her, it had lost its value.
You should have told him it passed through. You never tell him all that.
Thank you, Your Honor. And isn't that not a HIPAA violation?
All you had to say was you want to return the ring.
I'm just a truthful man, Your Honor. That's the
That's
only
not
thing.
me.
Truthful.
Look,
That's not being truthful. That's overspilling. You don't go to sell something and be the one to devalue it with your mouth. There were some stories that were unnecessary, and you telling the jeweler that this lady swallowed the ring and had to pass it through her birth is you literally devaluing the ring and underselling what you've come there to resell to them. So it just doesn't make sense on his part, and he said that he's being truthful. Like I said, this guy is like one of the clueless guys, and he's an adult, but he's still thinking like a teenager and just living in a very fairy tale land, But let's continue though.
the ring is clean. They won't take the ring back.
No, they were not, Your Honor.
Well, it looks like you don't have a ring to give to somebody else. So you think she ought to pay you for the ring?
Yes, Your Honor, because it lost its value.
You
I can't
bought
do
a
nothing
ring
for
for
it.
her. No, I'm not going to make her pay for the ring. You made the choice to buy a ring. It may have lost value, but you weren't going to have it. It was not going to be yours anyway, but now it's yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay? But about this medical bill, as to your countersuit for $2,500, then I'm going to deny that, right? As to the medical bill for $1,200, I'm going to make each of you pay half. Half because you put the ring in the glass, and half because you put the ring in your stomach. You put the ring down your throat by chucking. Had you not done it in that manner, it may have been a different story. So my ruling is that each of you pay half for the medical bill, which is $1,200, so $600 each. Has the bill been paid?
Yes.
The defendant will reimburse the plaintiff $600. So ordered.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Clearly, this is just the right call. Each of them split the bill and they just share their portion of it because this guy actually has a very big role to play in the lady swallowing the ring. In fact, I think he should have even paid the whole thing instead of her paying half of the money for the medical bills because he clearly cost it. One of the things again about this guy is that he's just very clueless. How do you think that the best idea was to put a ring in the wine glass of your loved one without thinking of the hazards and the danger it can cause if this person doesn't see the ring and actually swallows it? And the worst outcome came out of this is idea, and that is what ended up bringing them to court today. So clearly this guy is just not it. He's clueless and he needs to learn some things about life first before he thinks of actually trying to engage somebody else or find a second partner. But tell me what you think about this whole thing. Do you agree with Judge Mablean, or do you think that he should have paid the full thing? And until next time, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.